I am Michael, commander of the hosts of heaven, guardian of righteousness, shield of the Most High's beloved. I come not with gentle whispers today, but with a roar that shakes the shadows and awakens the sleeping. I speak by the authority of the Ancient of Days, whose throne is everlasting, whose fire never dims, whose glory covers all creation. Hear, O sons and daughters of the earth. Hear the sound of heaven's trumpet echoing across the veil. The heavens have been stirred, the scrolls unsealed, and the judgments weighed. I have been sent, not in silence, but in the thunder of divine proclamation, to deliver to you a message that will cut through the veil of darkness like a sword of fire. Your spirit will tremble, for these are not words of man, but of one who stands in the presence of the Holy One. You, yes, you, have been marked from birth, chosen before your breath was ever drawn. Your name has been etched into the hidden places of the King's chambers. Do you not know? Have you not perceived? The battle around you is not one of flesh and blood, but of principalities, powers, rulers of the darkness of this world, and spiritual wickedness in high places. Yet you walk unaware of how precious your soul is, unaware of the cosmic war waged over your destiny. But I have come to tear the veil from your eyes. There was an old woman who rose against you, not merely in flesh, but as a vessel of ancient hatred. She was clothed in bitterness, her tongue laced with curses drawn from the pit. Her heart was filled with venom not of her own making, for it was stirred by serpents in the unseen places. Her lips moved in secret, but her intentions were not hidden from the eyes of the Almighty. She tried to destroy you, not by sword or by fire, but by words, by whispers, by enchantments and malice conceived in the shadows. She thought herself wise in the ways of the old craft, drawing circles of power and summoning forces that she did not comprehend. She thought she could unravel your purpose. She thought she could silence what heaven has ordained. But listen now. I tell you what happened to her. As she raised her hand against you, the hand of the Lord was already lifted higher. Before her curse could leave her lips, the angels had already been dispatched. I stood at the gates of her house. I saw her in the secret place, weaving spells like a spider spins its web, and I watched, silent still, until the command came from the throne. And when it came, the earth beneath her feet groaned, and the spirits she summoned turned against her. The fire she called upon became her judgment. The darkness she conjured became her prison. The demons she entertained now whisper not for her, but against her. But the Lord is not mocked. What a soul sows, that shall it reap. She sowed destruction, she reaped desolation. Psalm 7:15 echoes in the heavens. He made a pit and digged it, and is fallen into the ditch which he made. Indeed, the trap she set for you became the snare that ensnared her own soul. And you, O chosen one, do you know how narrowly you escaped? Do you know the firestorm that was kindled around you, yet could not consume you? It was because the wings of heaven overshadowed you. The Lord commanded me concerning you, yes, me, and I drew my sword, not for battle only, but for deliverance. You walked unaware of what storm was circling around your name, but your tears were counted in heaven. Your prayers, though whispered in the midnight hour, rose like incense before the throne. Your groanings that could not be uttered became weapons in the hands of angels. Every cry of your heart shook the heavens more than you will ever know. Do not be deceived. Your life is not ordinary. Your path is not accidental. Your pain was not in vain. Psalm 34 verse 7 is written into the wind that carries this message. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them. I was encamped about you. I stood watch while you slept. I wrestled against forces you did not even see. I shattered arrows in flight that were meant for your mind. I crushed the claws that reached for your purpose. But now I tell you a greater truth. The war is not over. The victory over the old woman was a sign. It was a glimpse into the justice of heaven. But do not grow complacent, for the enemy regroups even now. The adversary watches your awakening with fury. He knows that if you rise fully into your identity, his strongholds will tremble. He knows that if you take your place in the army of the Lord, chains will fall across nations. He fears the sound of your voice when it is surrendered to heaven. Therefore I say, rise, do not delay. Do not hesitate. Cast aside the garments of weariness. Put on the full armor of God, belt of truth, breastplate of righteousness, shield of faith, helmet of salvation, sword of the Spirit. Clothe yourself not just in Scripture but in fire. You are not weak. You are not forsaken. You are not forgotten. Psalm 18:39 was written for you. For thou hast girded me with strength unto the battle. Thou hast subdued under me those that rose up against me. Let the Lion of Judah roar within you. Let his breath revive your bones. Let your spirit be ignited like a torch in the night. Do not settle for survival. Take up your authority and wage war in the Spirit. The enemy fears those who pray with fire. He trembles at those who fast with holy hunger. He flees from those who speak the word with faith. You are not a victim. You are a weapon forged in the fires of affliction and tempered in the spirit of holiness. And now I speak to your spirit, to the part of you that remembers the songs of heaven, the part of you that was fashioned in eternity before time began. I call to you, awake, 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 O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ shall give you light. The old woman who tried to destroy you has become a sign and a wonder. Her downfall is a testimony written in the courts of heaven. But what will you do now with the freedom you have been given? What will you do with the authority that has been restored? You must not be silent. You must not delay. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet. Call others into the light. Shake the earth with the sound of your testimony. Shatter the chains of those around you. If this message has stirred something within your soul, if you feel the fire rising in your bones, then I charge you, do not keep it hidden. Share it. Comment below. Declare what you are rising out of. Declare your war cry. Like this message, so it may reach those whose souls are still trapped in darkness. Because I am not finished speaking yet, I will continue. There is more yet to reveal. Then hear me still, for I, Michael, servant of the Most High and commander of heaven's hosts, am not yet finished. The heavens still echo with the sound of war drums, and the earth trembles beneath the weight of divine revelation. I will continue to speak until your soul shakes with holy fire, until the veils fall from your eyes, and the weight of your purpose is no longer a mystery. Listen closely now, for I speak not to your ears alone, but to your spirit, to the eternal flame within you, that part of you which remembers the covenant made in secret places long before your first breath. I speak to the warrior in you, the warrior the enemy has feared since your birth. I speak to the prophet in you, the one whose voice shakes the camp of the wicked. I speak to the intercessor, the one whose prayers are thunder in the heavens and terror to the gates of hell. The woman who sought your destruction was not the first, nor shall she be the last. She was a pawn, a whisperer of curses, a mouthpiece of ancient hatred. But the hand that moved behind her was older than she, older than kingdoms, older than the empires of men. It was the same hand that tempted Eve, that stirred Cain's jealousy, that built towers of rebellion and altars to false gods. She carried the bitterness of generations, the venom passed down like a cup of poison through bloodlines untouched by redemption. But she failed, not because you were strong in yourself, but because heaven decreed you untouchable, because the covenant of God wrapped around your destiny like flames around gold, because the intercession of your ancestors still cries out from the soil where they knelt, because the Lamb's blood still speaks better things than that of Abel. Do you not see now? You are the continuation of a war that began before the foundations of the world. You were born into a battlefield already ablaze. You were entrusted with a scroll sealed with fire, written with your calling, your assignments, your authority. The woman's downfall was heaven's signpost, a message to the realms of darkness. Touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. 15. But I see it now. I see the warfare that yet surrounds you. I see the snares set in places you have not walked yet. I see the curses whispered against your future relationships, against your children yet unborn, against your finances, your voice, your influence. The enemy watches from the shadows, hoping to catch you in weariness, to lull you into complacency. He does not need to destroy you with fire if he can silence you with distraction. He does not need to strike you with terror if he can cloak you in busyness and numb you with delay. But heaven cries out, now is the time to rise. The King is calling for watchmen on the wall. He is summoning those who will not slumber when others sleep. He is calling those who will pray until the heavens break open, who will fast until chains fall from cities, who will speak truth until darkness flees. You were not saved to sit in comfort. You were not delivered to dwell in silence. You were not rescued to remain hidden. You were chosen to tear down altars of Baal, to uproot generational curses, to walk in apostolic fire and prophetic clarity. You were anointed to disrupt hell's agenda and to rebuild ancient ruins. You were born for this war. You were born for this hour. Psalm 144:1 declares it over you now. Blessed be the Lord my strength, which teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight. You have been taught by suffering. You have been trained in the night watches. You have been fashioned in affliction. You have been carved by rejection and isolation, not as punishment, but as preparation. Even your wounds were not wasted. Even your tears have been weaponized. The same pain the enemy used to silence you will now become your war cry. The very scars you hid will now become healing to others. The woman who tried to destroy you has now become a footnote in your testimony, a monument to what happens when darkness dares to touch one anointed by the Lord. Her curses have been turned into catalysts. Her malice has become momentum. Her schemes have been shattered, and now the embers of what she built lie scattered on the ground. But do not let her defeat lull you into rest, for new assignments of darkness are already being formed. I see them, demonic whispers sent to seduce you with pride, with weariness, with distraction. I see agents of envy who will disguise themselves as friends. I see spirits of delay sent to tangle your path. I see counterfeit opportunities wrapped in false light. But I am not only a messenger, I am a warrior, and I have been commanded to warn you. The war is intensifying. Heaven is repositioning its warriors. Thrones are shaking. Angelic legions are being reassigned. The Spirit of God is stirring prophetic voices out of their caves. The earth is groaning for the manifestation of the sons and daughters of God. You, yes, you are part of that manifestation. You must decide now, will you remain silent or will you rise? Will you allow the embers of your calling to grow cold, or will you breathe upon them until a fire erupts within you that cannot be quenched? Will you fear the opinions of men, or will you speak with the authority of one who has stood before God? Psalm 91 is not a poetic lullaby. It is your battle cry. He shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. I was given charge over you. I guarded you when you didn't even know your life was in danger. I stood between you and death, between you and insanity, between you and ruin. And now I urge you by the command of heaven's court, declare your freedom, speak your deliverance, testify boldly. Do not hide what God has done. Let the world hear what the Lord has brought you through. The testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. What he has done for you, he will do through you. Let your mouth become a sword. Let your feet carry fire. Let your hands heal. Let your voice shake the nations. This message must not end here. You must become the continuation. You must carry this flame to others. Comment below what chains have been broken from your life. Declare your rising. Like this message not for applause, but to awaken the algorithms of the earth, to spread the message of heaven. Every action you take now becomes warfare. Every share becomes a strike against darkness. Every comment becomes a cry in the spirit. And I am not yet finished. Then I shall not pause. I will continue, for the breath of the Lord still burns upon my tongue, and the fire of heaven has not yet dimmed. The scroll is still unrolling before me, and I will speak until every word destined for your deliverance is released into the earth. The winds of the Spirit still stir around you. The heavens are not silent, and I, Michael, Prince of the Heavenly Host, will not be silent either. Listen again, child of destiny, beloved of the Most High, marked by the fire that consumes yet does not destroy. You wonder why your life has been warfare. You wonder why the attacks come in waves, why betrayal wrapped itself in familiar faces, why your soul has been pressed on every side. I tell you, it is because of what you carry. It is because of what you were born to break. It is because of the territory your spirit was assigned to reclaim before your hands were ever formed. You are a threat to hell. You are the answer to someone's bondage. You are the voice to someone's silence. You are the intercessor standing between death and destiny for your family. You are the gatekeeper of a bloodline that has long been bound in chains of ancestral iniquity. And yes, the woman who tried to destroy you saw it, even if you did not. She saw it in the spirit realm. She saw the glow of divine purpose around you. She saw the wall of angels surrounding your soul. She saw the heavenly markings etched into your name. And so she was drawn, like moth to flame, like shadow to light. She was provoked by spirits older than her bones, stirred by ancient hatred that stretches all the way back to Eden. But what she failed to see was the covenant sealed over you. She failed to understand that you were hidden in the secret place of the Most High. She failed to see that your cries had already summoned the hosts of heaven, and that I had been sent to war on your behalf. Psalm 35 verse 1 is a cry etched upon your life. Plead my cause, O Lord, with them that strive with me. Fight against them that fight against me. And I did fight. I fought while you were asleep. I warred when your hands were too weary to be lifted. I blocked what was never allowed to touch you. I shattered demonic arrows before they reached your heart. The bitterness that woman carried returned to her own mouth like ash. Her curses unraveled, her enchantments collapsed under the weight of God's glory. The spirits she called upon found her unprotected, and they turned with fury upon her house. But this is not a story of revenge, it is a story of redemption. Her fall is not merely your vindication, it is heaven's warning to every other spirit that dares rise against you. It is a message written in spiritual realms. Do not touch this one, for they are sealed by the hand of the eternal King. And yet, I feel the trembling in your heart. I feel your doubts, your lingering fears, your wonderings. Why me? Why was I chosen? Why did this fire not consume me? Oh, if you only knew how heaven has watched over you. If you only saw the records written about you in the heavenly courts. If you only heard the songs the angels have sung over your life in the midnight hours. Psalm 139:16 declares it boldly. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect. And in thy book all my members were written, when as yet there was none of them. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, the Lord knew your name. Before a single day of battle began, every one of your victories was already written. Even your trials were foreseen and assigned to strengthen your spirit. Even your betrayal was permitted, not to break you, but to build the fire in you. Even your isolation was divine, so that you might hear heaven more clearly than the noise of men. And now, I say it again, rise. Rise in the authority that has been purchased for you with blood. Rise in the fire that now burns in your bones. Rise in the knowledge that you are not alone, never abandoned, never forsaken. You are not merely surviving, you are being equipped. You are being anointed afresh. You are being positioned for greater glory. You are standing on the edge of a great unveiling, and heaven is waiting for you to walk into it. Do not fear the next battle. It is already won. Do not fear the next enemy. I stand ready. Do not fear the loss. You cannot lose what was never meant for you. Do not fear the pain. It is birthing your mantle. You ask, what mantle? I tell you now, you carry the mantle of fire. You carry the mantle of intercession. You carry the mantle of breakthrough. You carry the mantle of prophetic sight. You carry the mantle of apostolic dominion. You were not just saved, you were sent. You were not just rescued, you were raised. You were not just healed, you were ignited. And now I declare to every force that still watches in the shadows, this one shall rise, this one shall speak, this one shall tear down altars, this one shall shake nations, this one shall carry the voice of the Lord like thunder through the valleys of death. The woman who tried to destroy you is gone, but you remain. The curses are broken, but your voice is just beginning. The storm has passed, but your glory has yet to be seen in fullness. I speak now to your future. It will not look like your past. The days ahead will not be like the days behind. The chains that bound your family will end with you. The depression that stalked your bloodline ends with you. The barrenness that gripped your generations ends with you. The silence that plagued your lineage ends with you. You are the breaker. You are the one the enemy hoped would never awaken. You are the one whose prayers will open doors for others. You are the one who will weep over nations. You are the one who will set captives free. Psalm 126, 5-6 declares it over you now. They that sow in tears shall reap in joy. He that goeth forth and weepeth, bearing precious seed, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaves with him. Your tears were not wasted. Your waiting was not in vain. Your warfare was not empty. Your scars are not shameful. They are signs. And I tell you again, this message must not be hidden. Do not let this flame remain in your heart alone. Speak it. Declare it. Comment below and testify. Let your words become warfare. Like this message so the algorithms of men become servants of heaven's mission. Share it so others may awaken. You do not know who waits on the other side of your obedience. You do not know who is one message away from deliverance. Be the trumpet. Be the voice in the wilderness. Be the light on the hill. And I, Michael, still stand beside you. I am not leaving. I am not retreating. I am not finished. There is more still to reveal. Then hear this final charge. For though the message shall continue in days to come, this portion must now seal itself in your spirit like fire upon stone. You have not heard these words by accident. Heaven orchestrated this moment. The same God who sent his angel to war on your behalf is now calling you to respond. Not just in silence, but in boldness, in unity, in action. This is your time to rise. This is your time to speak. This is your time to awaken others. So I charge you now in the name of the Lord of hosts, do not let this message be buried beneath the noise of the world. If this word stirred your soul, if heaven whispered to your spirit through it, then act. Comment below. Testify. Declare your freedom. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so. Let your words break the silence of others. Let your voice become part of the rising army. Click the like button, not for vanity, but for victory. Every like sends this message further, igniting hearts the enemy tried to keep asleep. And most of all, subscribe. Subscribe not just to a channel, but to a movement of divine awakening. Subscribe to stay under the flow of prophetic fire and heavenly revelation. Subscribe so you never miss what heaven will speak next through these vessels. There is more coming, greater words, deeper mysteries, urgent warnings, and powerful encounters. You were called to walk with angels, to hear the voice of God, to become a living flame in a cold world. Subscribe now and stand with us in this divine assignment. Together, we will shake the gates of hell. Together, we will awaken nations. Together, we will carry the fire. And I, Michael, will continue to speak until every chain is broken, until every sleeper awakens, until every heart burns with holy purpose. The battle is not over. This message is not the end. It is only the beginning. Subscribe now, comment below, like the video, and take your place. The war is real, the time is now, the angels are watching.